Hey, everybody. It's time for an Olympus Reptiles egg cutting. Now, let me get this thing set in here and we'll get this ball rolling. Okay, battery still works. Wow. Is that the right way to do that? Hi, crazy hair day. I know. I might have done this the wrong way. Let's see. Nope, it's going to work. Perfect. All right, a few things for get cutting. This is going to be probably our last egg cutting of 2020. So do keep that in mind. I'm going to try to do this where I can kind of see what your comments are as I do this. Probably get this one pretty quick, just because I'll be honest, I'm tired and I gotta get an early morning tomorrow. But you know, it is a day to do it. I understand, Jason. You probably feel terrible, man. So we're gonna cut these, and then I'll probably do the Patreon live tomorrow, just so I can, spend a little more time with you guys and be able to show you some cool things. We got some pairings starting. I'll kind of run through those with you guys tomorrow and chat a little more and actually schedule that. So for those who want to be there on a Patreon, they'll be set up and you can be there as opposed to just doing it right after today. I think we might try that delay on a day and then we'll have more to talk about, right? And give you a better opportunity to catch it. So I've got my handy dandy scissors and I'm going to go ahead and disinfect them and me. And then we're going to get to work. What's going on, Anna? Glad to see you here. Did you catch what I said to Anna about we'll do the Patreon live tomorrow? Give me a little bit more freedom to spend some more time with you guys as opposed to having to get home, eat dinner, and get to bed and all that kind of stuff. And won't be so packed up. Somebody's actually calling me. Uh, I'll text her in a second. I'm on my phone. She didn't realize I'm live. I probably should have told her. So this pairing is our Onyx to a, let me think here, when we have that laid it was to our killer bee. That's what it was. Onyx to our killer bee. So give me 1 second, guys. Well, she'll figure it out. Or she'll call again. I don't know. It won't be on there very long. So let me get to working. Let's go. These are due. They just haven't pipped yet, but I just want to go ahead and do it. This egg I'm a little bit worried about because when I moved it one time it rolled. It just doesn't feel the best, I'll be honest. There is a baby in there. I can see it now. So I can't open up a little bit more of that. Looks cool. Oh, it's alive. So it's worried for no reason. It does look like this one could use a little bit of moisture. It's another reason why when it comes to make sure that they had an exit if these are like a thick shell issue or something like that. Because they look fully developed. Everything looks good in there. Set that one back down. You can see it quivering. All right. Whew. I got a mod on this name, but I bet I know it is Fox Hollow. Speaking of that, if that's who I think it is, Patrick, we had to refilm the intro piece to the video we did with you on the shop stuff because of the way Kurt wanted to do it, and we tried it, and I screwed it up. So we just finished that the other day, so that video will be in editing and will be coming out soon. These are pretty thick shells. Probably a good thing I cut these. So basically everything in here should be at least a 2-gene combo, right? Yeah, we only rolled it one time, and I wasn't too worried about it, but still, look at that thing. It's pretty. So I won't always be able to identify what we got in here. Can I get a quiver out of you? Oh, there it was. But I do know everything should be at least pastel, and then it should also have at least black pastel or het red axanthic because of the onyx. So we look like two of the similar things. My hope here is to learn a little bit more about het red axanthic and see if we can't pick those out from the black pastels in these combos, because I don't have much experience with it. So we'll see if I can do it. If not, I'll tell somebody else to do it with us. Whoa, that thing's cool looking. Well, okay. Look at that thing moving around in there. Wow, that thing's really light. That's just odd. Of course, it just may not have developed this color yet. I've had a lot of killer bees come out that light, so interesting. Do 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 do. I need to learn to sing so I can like sing to you guys while I do this. But I can't sing, so you know, there's that. Here's another one that looks really similar to that other one. Look at that. Beautiful. And it's moving in there. Perfect. So far we're 4 for 4. We got 2 3 genes and 2 2 genes. I can tell you spider and spider, pastels in all 4 of them. What else is in there? So they're going to be the het red xanthan, the black pastel. So that's going to be the fun part. And we won't even try to call that until it's all out. Oh, it may not be that important, but it is important to me. And I wanted to like that video. I wanted to really get it out. Because I think it's going to be a cool video. He knows what I'm talking about on that, little guys. That thing. That's his tail wrapped around. That's why the color is a little bit weird. Oh, there's some movement in there. Really kind of a cool looking snake. We've also, believe it or not, in everything we've made, and people forget that we've only been doing this, you know, my first year of production was 15, and it was, I think, maybe 1 or 2 clutches, right? Oh, the watch, sorry, it's just a Seiko. It's yeah, I like watches, but I don't have like rollies or anything, you know. Seiko's about the nicest thing I get. Oh, it could be, but the other person really liked boxes, so I saw the name. That's what kind of cued me in on that. So anyway, we said different account. That's where I was going. On my couch, I don't know what you mean by my couch. Man, these things are thick. I am actually extremely happy I decided to cut these because these are some of the thickest shells I think I've ever had. The cutting, so what we're cutting is going to be, and I know on the camera it probably looks xanthic, but I promise you it's not. It's a killer bee, so super pastel spider, there we got some movements, times an onyx. So the onyx being black pastel het red xanthic. And those two are allelic. So that means, oh, clutch. Okay, autocorrect said couch. I was all confused. So that means that everything will be at least pastel, right? And the token Ubered guy. Now I gotcha. Now I gotcha. And then everything else. So we'll have everything be at least pastel plus either black pastel or het red xanthic. Obviously, the spider sticks out in these, and it's going to be really interesting to kind of just watch these come out. Now this is in a little bit of a difficult position. So, and being so thick, I mean, this one I'm a little bit concerned about too because it feels a little bit hard. But that could also be the shell thickness. I mean, this thing almost feels like there's 2 shells developed in there. Sometimes when you get a hard feeling egg, you get an animal that's not doing well too. Oh man, that was almost like cutting through not a tree. Okay, let's see how this one's doing. Give me some movement there, little buddy. Ooh, now this one could be an issue. What? There we go. Yep, it's moving. So we are good. I was a little bit concerned with that last one, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in this one. All doing well. Does look like, so if you ever do some cutting, you will hit a vein occasionally like that. We don't usually hit one that bleeds that much. It's nothing to be concerned about. These eggs are developed fine. They're ready. Just don't freak out. I mean, you probably still will the first time it happens. I get it. It's pretty common. So let me flip this camera over to me for just a second. And yes, somebody asked why they're so deflated. And yes, a lot of times when they get close to hatch, they will dry out a little bit, or they'll just sink in. They start to absorb some of that. I've had some that don't sink in at all, some that sink in quite a bit. Just kind of depends. You can control a little bit with the amount of moisture. This setup I can show you. Of course, it is getting to the point where shit dries out a little bit more than normal. Let me get this thing to work here. So you can see how thick the substrate is in the bottom there. We ran moisture up to about here. Of course, we lose some over time, but it still should be plenty in there. So how long until you can congenitor them? Well, if you're well practiced, you know, you can do it honestly right out of the egg. Sometimes I do that. If you do them when they're really fresh out the egg, I don't trust it. And the reason I don't trust it very much is I use very, very little pressure, partly because you don't want to hurt them. And so I may not be using enough pressure to get the hemipenes to actually show. So it's kind of a best guess early on. I like the way tough they shed, and then they're kind of good. You want to get them out a little bit. Yes, and sometimes you do run into snakes with micro penis. So we had a few of those. And sexing too, understand, I don't know anybody that's never missed one that's done this a long time. So, well, I just got off work. I wasn't expecting to do this today. I am rocking my K-State stills, but we went ahead and decided to give it a shot. So we thought, I thought, I'm going to knock this out today because they're close to pipping. I know tomorrow I've got to get up super early, and I thought, this will come up at an early time. I've got some work to do in here. I can spend that, do an extra long Patreon live, where I can spend it with those folks. And then Thursday, we're supposed to actually get the kitchen finished in the reptile house. I'm really excited. Well, not finished, but another step closer to being done. That's taken 6 months. And that would be getting the counters installed in the kitchen. So I'm really excited about that, getting things kind of done around here to make the stay a little bit better. And Jake, I'm really sorry you feel that way. But hey, I can't fix it. Is what it is. So this is going pretty good. All right, so if you guys have any quick questions before we hop off of here, because like I say, this is going to be a short one because my wife's got dinner on the table, and obviously you guys looked at me. I don't miss meals too often. And then for you Patreon folks, right, we'll be doing your live for this tomorrow, where we'll kind of go through some of the first pairings we've got, some of the first locks, kind of show you what's going on with that. We posted a picture on Patreon and on Instagram today, kind of showing the first one we paired up, which wasn't really locked. They were just pressing together, just to give you an idea, which was our tournament winners. But we'll spend some time doing that. So it's not even really red and blue. What do they call it? Like crimson and something else. I don't know. They got some fancy name for it because it's KU. Or maybe we're going to give you a snake. If you buy one, I will. Or if you're on Patreon, which I think you are, and you win one of our giveaways, we will. For those of you not on Patreon, I want to let you know something really quick. So Patreon also did a voting on this tournament, and they picked a winner. So the winner that they picked was the same one that YouTube picked, which is our Pastel Lesser Desert Ghost. That we did not know it when we started the tournament, but happened to be Het for Cryptic. So what we'll be doing is pairing that to one of our Het Clowns again, and on Patreon, we're going to end up giving away a Krypton. Not from this breeding season that we hatched, but from the next one. We will be doing that. So, yeah. Oh, it is Paralite. How much water do you put in? As much as you want with the Paralite. Since the eggs are suspended above, you cannot put in too much. As long as they're not touching the water, you should be good. So, I know, I actually have some hair. Look at that. It's not bald. I mean, it's fighting on a few fronts, but we're doing all right. Reaper's doing great. Yeah, he's in his tank chilling, so everything else. Oh, actually, it's not that much cheaper because I take forever to drink them. So, like, I'll drink on this one for probably 3.5 hours. So, if I run a fountain, it gets all watered down and nasty. I also don't buy these at the store. If you look, they're like a 16.9 ounce. So, I mean, they're not like convenient store pick up. They're just buy a bunch and keep that going. Dead car battery. Caleb, you have terrible luck, man. Will I ever use a easy hatch trace? Probably not. And the reason I won't is I like to keep my eggs in the position they come out. And I've been doing this for quite a while. And I've had great success rates with this. Of course, last year being an anomaly with the move, but all in all, we're back to what we would expect from live hatch. This year, I bet our numbers were around 95% again or better. And, when you throw out the slugs, we've lost very, very few babies in the egg that weren't slugs. And a couple of them that we lost, I can think of, 2 that were like my fault because I was trying to separate out some that we knew were probably slugs, ended up being slugs, and we wanted to get rid of them because they were starting to turn bad, and we ended up tearing a hole in an egg. So like that one, I did. Like I know what happened. So, all in all, I probably won't switch. And it's not that they're bad. It's one of those things. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this ain't broke for me. This is working really, really good. So why would I change? Now, if I was brand new getting into it and I was a little unsure about what I was doing, and I wanted to try that, I might try it. That's kind of where I would go with that. So, all right, anything else, guys? Before we hop up off of here, because I just want to do a quick egg cutting to kind of get the 2020 season tie. We're about done, buddy. We just cut a bunch of eggs. to get the 2020, got to fly in here, to get the 2020 season kind of wrapped up on our cuttings and go from there. Because there is so much going on. And also tomorrow, Patreon will spend some time with you. We have a video coming out that'll talk about it a little bit more. But for those of you who make the live tomorrow, right, I will kind of let you in on a little bit of about what to expect. So one thing we did not do this year, and the reason I didn't do it is I kept this all year. So where I work changed their policy, right? And they had a policy before we couldn't have facial hair, but we could grow facial hair in November, and we would raise money for a charity that takes, kids who aren't going to have a Christmas and gives them one, for lack of a better term. Well, the policy changed. You got facial hair all year, so the money didn't really get raised. Now we always run a year behind. So like the money that we raised last year is here for this year. So this year we're going to give kids a Christmas. So we're going to be doing some things to help that out on Patreon. We're going to be doing some sales that will help to fund that, where we will likely be providing Christmas to a lot of people, which is really exciting. I like that. So anyway, that's going to happen. Yes, Tetra, I have had that. If you have good eggs, it should not affect the good eggs, but it is kind of gross and nasty. That's why I like to get rid of bad ones just in case. And but sometimes you have to be careful. They're stuck too well together. They will rip. Yes, so what I do, I work in law enforcement. For those of you that don't know, I won't announce the exact department or get into any of that kind of politics because, and it's not that I'm not willing to talk about that stuff, but I have to abide by my work policies, which if I start dropping names and like that, then yeah, and it doesn't smell the best, but it's not going to make me vomit. I've smelled way worse than a bad snake egg. I told you what I just do for a living. Smell way worse. If I had $2K to invest in ball pythons, what would you do it now or wait a year and invest $5K? Well, I would invest $5K total, but I would invest that $2K now if I had it. Like if I knew this is what I was going to do, first of all, I would probably invest in that much. I probably wouldn't invest in a rack yet, but I would definitely, although I might look at picking up some used racks if I could find some for reasonable cost and invest at least $1,000 in caging and equipment. And then the other $1,000 I would invest in some females. Probably buy 2 females I could raise up. The following year, looking for more equipment, an incubator, things like that. Don't forget that. And then I would probably invest in my male or 2, or maybe a couple more females. That way you can have those pairings ready to go. Buy your females first. Females first. If I say where I work, I wouldn't get fired, but then it can bring in other things, and then it can cause problems. I just don't do it. But I do work in law enforcement. I'm very proud of that. I've been doing that since 1999, so very, very, very long time. So yeah, there you go. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's had its ups, it's had its downs, but that's kind of any job, right? I mean, it's all of us. So all right, anything else, guys? If we hop off here and I can go get my dead time, I'm going to give it just a few more minutes. We'll go to 20 minutes and I'm going to dip out. But that's kind of where it is almost retirement time. So I started very young. I started at the age of 18. I started doing a 911 before working in more type of law enforcement at the age of 21. I have to get 25 years counted, and we'll get there. So it says, what level of Patreon do I have to have a shot at a blitz? Do you have any clutches coming soon? So here's how we kind of do that for those of you guys who don't know. First of all, what level you'd have to be at to have a shot at a blitz is simply the $5 level. So we release all of our animals to Patreon at the same time on the $5 level, right? And that's what we do it. So that level will get you that access. We got all of our clutches. What we do is we kind of started releasing them in groups. And this year, absolutely issues we had last year with some of the babies having problems, And good night to whoever I'm saying good night to. What we did is we kind of set on things a little bit longer to make sure things were good. We shipped out one of our first 2020 babies just yesterday. It was from Clutch 02, and we shipped out like 130 grams, maybe something like that. So we made sure they were well started, ready to rock. We're going to start releasing those 2020 babies. In the mix of those 2020 babies, there are several blitzes. So if you're on there, you will have a shot at blitz at the $5 level. What you get for the additional levels is things like free t-shirt, chance to come here and stay. You can get, we changed it. We used to give people a credit, like on the $50 and $100 level, they got a credit after so many months. And that got to be really hard to track and a pain in the ass. So after a vote of Patreon members, we moved that credit to a percentage off. So after 6 months, you get a certain percentage off all purchases, discounted shipping at additional levels, things of that nature. But as far as just having access to the specials, access to all the posts, and access to the animals we sell, $5 will do that. So, I mean, there's different tiers for that purpose. But and the best part you get is the Discord. The Discord is by far, when I first started, the knowledge kind of flowed from me out, and what I've learned in my travels and bumping my head and screwing stuff up. And now with the Discord, there's stuff that comes from me, and there's a lot that comes from Discord from a lot of other breeders who are on there who also have vast amounts of knowledge off that I don't. And so there's a lot of good, helpful people on there. And the Discord is worth everything. So there's a ton of information. Plus, those folks, or you, if you sign up, or anybody, is allowed to sell on our Discord. So our Discord has snakes that aren't for me. I sell mine on our Patreon page. I keep mine off the Discord. And the Discord has kind of, I'm looking for this, and people who want to sell things, and people sell stuff through our Discord if they're members. And so you also know then who's buying. It's pretty awesome. So as far as type to buy, so we do some auctions. And that we do auctions and we do specials. So when I have a special, which is once a month, a lot of times we'll do what's called a reverse auction. It's my favorite way to do a special. A reverse auction, I start an animal at a full retail price plus shipping, and we lower the price. The price goes down, not up, until somebody says sold. We do it that way. Otherwise, what we'll do is we'll let you know, hey, we're going to post at 7 o'clock Central a list of animals, and at 7 o'clock Central, boom, the list of animals comes out, and it's posted, and usually I include pictures if I can, or I'll put the picture on Discord or however so people can see them. And they're all serial numbered, and you just mark sold, and then you use PayPal. So that's how it works. It's pretty simple. The messaging system on Patreon is terrible. So, but my cell phone's readily available if you're on there. If you don't have it, somebody can give it to you, and you can just text me. So, I don't usually put normals on there. We can. If somebody's looking for normals, they tell me I can try to get them some normals. I mean, we have plenty. But nobody usually is wanting the normals, so we usually just wholesale those out. Every morph goes to Patreon first before it's ever released anywhere. As far as Discord is better for messaging, yes. As far as the Sasquatch videos, I prefer just getting a text. I know it's easier. I can save your name, and when somebody hits me up, I know who it is. It's all a matter of Kurt doing the editing. So we filmed everything. Kurt's just got to have time to set and edit. It's a lot of footage, a lot of editing. Way different than what we do here. It's our first foray into doing something like that. I thought it was hilarious filming it. It might be crap when it's done. We'll see. A lot of typical humor from that you'll see from me. The thing is, though, I'll be honest. I wrote most of the script. Like most of the script and the ideas were like, we came up with themselves. I developed the character development for what I wanted. And the one thing I did a really piss poor job of was on my character. I pretty much developed myself out. So I'm in there, but I'm not the main draw in there at all, which is really cool. So there's a lot of my friends who get to be kind of the main attraction, and you don't see me too much. And a lot of times when you do see me, I'm covered in fur, so you don't even know it's me. I did a lot of that, so it's pretty fun. So what time? I'm not really sure yet, Wolfgeist, because when I got a training, I will post and give people a little bit of time to watch. We weren't really ever drunk filming it. It was all set up pretty good, but it was a blast. I mean, I don't want to ruin some of the scenes for you when they come out, but there's some really funny stuff we did. I thought, and if it sucks, I don't care. I had a blast filming it, and we got to see some awesome scenery, and we got to take the Jeep and tear through the hills of Colorado and go on some Jeep trails. Actually, a few of the Jeep Honor trails, if you have a Jeep, you're familiar with that. We got to hit Ophir Pass, and we didn't do Engineer Pass. We did some filming on Ophir Pass. We did some filming on Imogene Pass, or Imogene, however they say it. So the views are just gorgeous in certain parts. Other parts were just filmed out in the woods and won't be quite as gorgeous. But we did wrap some beauty in there with the juxtaposition of some slapstick humor, which I know is getting for me, but I thought it would be kind of fun to take something really beautiful and then juxtapose it with something really stupid. So we did that a lot. I honestly look forward to them coming out. I will probably watch them and critique them terribly. But if they go over well, what we would like to eventually work the Bigfoot thing to, it'll be a separate channel, and if it pays for itself, then we will end up doing more of those where it can just fund the trip to go do it. It's kind of the whole goal. Somebody said, happy egg cutting. That was Martin Exotics. Thank you, Martin Exotics. I really appreciate it. And it was a happy egg cutting. We're going to have some animals we've never had before, and that's pretty cool. So there'll probably be one hold back in that group, I'd imagine, just because I want to watch one of them grow. and the rest of them will probably end up being released if I was a betting man. And I have a hard time not keeping one with spider, but I probably shouldn't keep one with spider. But y'all know me. I love my spider stuff. You know, although I get accused of being money hungry for making spider at least once a week. It's funny. I could produce 1,000 pies just, because they're easy to sell and they make good money and nobody would say a word. Produce 5 spiders. People are like, oh my god, you're just in it for the money. You fucking kidding me? Like, seriously, man. Seriously, right? I know. I gotta get off the soapbox. Tell you what. So if we got that super chat in, you guys want to see something cool? Oh yeah, I love spider stuff. There's an animal that's here, and I'm just gonna tell you, or Patreon, you'll understand a lot more of it down the road. I promise. But I'm just gonna tell you guys it's here. I'm not gonna tell you guys how it got here. Just know it's here, and I've never showed it on camera before. Well, Hollywood to an extent, and what I mean is, yeah, if there was no money, would I be doing this? Probably not. Would I still have snakes? Sure I would. I like doing it. Now, if I can do it and make a living at it, that's what I'm going to do. Not because, I want to be a millionaire, but because of the fact that, if this could be my retirement gig, awesome, right? Totally awesome. But it's not always the thing. Like, it's not always able to do that. At this point in time, I'm very proud of what we built, and it's not that everything I've ever done has been the most. If I was the most money focused, if my main focus was going to be, I want to make as much profit as possible, there's no way I run the business the way I do. There's no way I do. I would definitely focus my pairings in a different direction, but I really like to do it, and so I want to make the things I want to make, but I also have to pay the bills. And the more you get to a size, the more you actually have to focus a little bit on paying the bills, because fortunately for us, we've got some like the Patreon support and things like that help us astronomically, but equipment's expensive. Buying this house is expensive. This isn't my house. I don't live here. This is just a house for doing this beside mine. But that's an extra set of bills to pay, extra set of insurance and taxes to pay, all of those things. So it does get expensive, and you've got to meet that overhead, right? Right, and the true focus, and you can tell somebody's focused on just the money by what they're doing. You can. It's there for show. Like you said, they're chasing the next guy's combo to make the big fast payday. The guy looking for the big fast payday, like always the fast payday, always the quick money. Those are the ones that are typically. I'm not going to name drop anybody. That's not what I'm trying to do here. They're typically in it for the money. And then you got guys who've been in it forever and a day, and they've seen the highs, they've seen the lows. They're going to make good money sometimes they're not. And they're going to have the next great combo because they're at that level where all that's coming in. And I will not name drop those because they're not necessarily just in it for the money. They're in it. They've been in it forever. It takes forever to get to that point. You got guys like, Nerd, been in it forever. Brian, been in it forever. Justin Kulblika, not quite as long as those guys, but been in it forever. Brock Wagner, if you've never heard him, check him out. He's been in it forever. Those dudes, they're going to have some really, really high-end cool shit because they've been in it for so long. And it's not just chasing the money because you have that. But if you're brand new and all you're doing is trying to find the combo that's going to pay 10 grand, yeah, that's what people are doing. Most people don't last, though. All right, we got that super chat in. I want to reward that. So you guys want to see something that I think is phenomenal? If you do, I will show it to you. I can get this thing to work. All right, we ready? Dun, 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 dun. Here it comes. So, and thanks for your super chat. There we go. More information will come out about how on Patreon and why. But needless to say, we're giving this a home. We're going to make sure it gets a lot of camera time because I know that this animal was loved a lot, and unfortunately just could not stay where it was. But what you're looking at there is a killer zebra bee. So since you gave a super chat, I wanted to share that as a way of saying thank you. I wasn't going to share that till later, but there it is. With that, there are more animals like that to share. That's definitely the one that's most near and dear to my heart. We're going to let him settle in. We haven't paired up right now, so I want to let him settle in. Let him get a couple meals in himself here. Make sure he's doing good here and he's adjusted. And apparently he is a frozen thawed eater, so I have to thaw him out around like I do my carpets. But I don't mind a bit because that thing is just... I'll never forget seeing the first one of those in a picture and just losing my shit. That animal is why I breed ball pythons, you know. When I first got into it, those were a $10,000 animal. And I was a fairly newly divorced singlish guy. By singlish, I meant that I was single, but I wasn't always sleeping by myself. And and so like I just there's no way I could afford that, you know. My whole world is over financially speaking, and even before that, I wouldn't have been spending 10 grand on a snake. And I thought, well, I'll make it. I already had a few snakes, so then I started making those goals. And I did make one. And unfortunately, my snake's like 30 mice. Unfortunately, mine, it passed. And I missed this year and didn't make another one. So I'm really excited to have that one in my collection now. And it's going to be pretty awesome. I did not make it. That was not my production. It's as good as my production, but it's not my production. So anyway, that's pretty awesome. I'm really excited. So that was some of the good news I've been setting on. And I'm glad that it made its way here. All right, guys, I'm going to hop up off of here and go eat some dinner and see my wife, get some sleep, because I got a training day in the morning that starts way earlier than my normal shift. Not happy about that. Patreon. Look for us to go live with you guys. I would say it'll probably be somewhere early afternoon tomorrow, maybe 5:30 to 6:30, something like that. So those tubs there, they're not ARS. They are all Freedom Breeder tubs that I have. Well, not all, but all my adult tubs are Freedom Breeder tubs. And that one is in an FB40 currently. So the setup is this whole wall here is nothing but, well, we got the Pride of Texas rack. We got one more of those still to come. It is an FB40. Everything else over here is FB70. Then over here on this wall, I've got one FB70. We used to have 3, if you remember right, that were sitting over here. But 2 of those were occupied by, they were old. They were 2 more FB70s. They were the first generation TGRs. The rails would crack, first design, almost like a prototype. And, you know, they made much improvements. Most people at TGR have a 2 series, and that's what all of our TGRs, save one rack as well. But those we ended up sending off with some people who've been through a fire, and so they're actually at Caleb's house now, because we were going to give them to Alex, you know, to help with his collection at the house fire. Caleb ended up with a lot of that collection long term, and Alex shrunk down to a smaller number, for lack of a better word. And so we sent those with him because, you know, he also had a rack fire. Everybody knows rack fires due to some bad wiring on one instance, and on the first of the house, we're not sure what the cause was, but it was not reptile related at all. I do know that. So those went there to help somebody else out and rehome those. And that's kind of the setup. So you have FB40s behind me, FB40s there. We carry 30 FB40 tubs, 40 FB40 tubs, and that will probably do us long term. And then we'll end up hopefully running FB70s from here all the way to the wall, and then on that side, FB40 to the wall. And that'll probably be what we can get in here, and some more babies. I have FB20s on that side, so that's kind of the setup in here. We'll do a full tour here one day. And of course, also chilling out here right now, I have my young, come on phone, my young Gaboon Viper over there in that cage. It's locked up, and that is just a display light. It has a heat mat. It doesn't run a ton of heat, but it's a happy camper. So FB80 all day. I've never used the FB80s. I've always used the FB70s for females. Now our bloods will end up going in displays eventually as they keep growing, although they're not growing as fast. We've slowed down their food. They're getting a little fat, so I don't want them to get disease, so we did that. All right, Jared, well, I appreciate you love the content. We're going to get off here, though. It is time to eat. I went way longer than I anticipated. I put these back in the cooker, see my wife a little bit, and I will see Patreon tomorrow. Tomorrow. Oh, you're all in on the short tails, I think is what you meant. I think autocorrect got you. If you really like short tails a lot, I'm going to tell you a guy to check out. So if you're into him, you need to, and he didn't have a big following that I don't think anyway yet, but O'Malley's Morphs. Go find O'Malley's Morph. He is on YouTube, big into the short tails. Awesome guy. So check him out. He's great to watch for that. So Oh, have your shop come hell or high water. Go for it. It's a lot of fun. All right, guys. Thank you. We'll see you next time.